Hello creative friends! Today we are going to be working on our Dino DIY kit. This art kit is designed for instruction with the kit that you already picked up from Curio, either in store or online. It has everything inside it that you need to paint with, the image pre-drawn on the canvas, so all you need to do is get a paper towel and a cup for water and we'll be good to go. During these tutorials, I'm going to show you how I would go about painting the picture, but obviously if you have different colors you want to use at home, if you want to use the colors in a different way, you are more than welcome to do that. I am going to start with my square brush first, and I'm going to use my square brush to start with my background. I always like to begin with my background and kind of moving forward. So my background is going to be blue. The first thing I'm going to do is take my square brush and I'm going to hold it so that it's kind of long ways, and I'm going to paint around my dinosaur. I'm going to go around it and outline it so that this is kind of a barrier for me to stop painting my background so I don't accidentally overtake my dinosaur. I'm also going to go ahead and paint around my sun, and once I'm done, I'm going to begin painting in the whole background blue. When you're painting big areas, be sure that you're smoothing out any big, thick areas of paint so that we don't waste it. We can always save this paint and use it for later. And you can either paint the sky blue just with the light blue that's in the kit, or you can do something that makes it look a little bit more interesting and have a little bit more depth. While your blue is still wet, you can dip into your white paint and you can kind of make these big letter X's, and you can kind of work some of your light blue paint together by mixing your white and your blue. You're making kind of a light blue, and you can keep kind of making a pattern between putting your paintbrush in the blue, putting your paintbrush in the white, and kind of making these X's and mixing your color together. And it just makes a really interesting background. It makes it look like there's maybe some clouds or atmosphere in the sky. If you want to add some clouds in, you can, but our next step will be painting in the background however you think that's the best way for your project to be done. After you're sure that there's no big globs that you need to smooth out, you can take your brush, wash it really well by pushing it against the bottom of your water container. Make sure you dry your brush. That's just as important as washing it. And I'm going to switch to my smaller brush to start to do my green. I'm going to do the same thing I did with my background, where I'm going to take my light green here and I'm going to start to go around my dinosaur so that I'm making another border of where I want to make sure I'm done painting and I don't go past it, or else I'll start to make my dinosaur kind of a different shape than I wanted to. You can always feel free to turn the canvas so that you're painting closer to yourself. Instead of painting way up here, you can turn your canvas. And you can also feel free, if you have really young artists, to do the outlining for them and then they can paint in the rest. You can also always trace over the pencil lines with a Sharpie so that they're still able to see them after they're done painting. Once I'm done outlining, I'm going to switch back to my square brush because it's larger. I can cover more space at once. And again, I can paint my whole section in green. I could also add a little bit of white if I wanted to my green. It'll have the same effect as the blue did with my white. It'll make it lighter. You could also do something where instead of using white, while your green is still wet, you could mix in some yellow, and that'll give you some different shades and varieties of green as well. I did leave this little area empty. This is kind of the inner part of our dinosaur. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my green and a little bit of my white, and I'm gonna mix that together to create a lighter green. And I'm going to do this part of the belly with that lighter green. If you decided to do your dinosaur a different color, you could also, if it's orange, you could mix orange with some white to make this have a lighter color on the underside of the stomach. Now that I'm done with my dinosaur, I'm going to go ahead and do my yellow sun. You could also add in white if you wanted it to be a little bit more of a lighter pastel. I'm gonna wash my brush out really good, and I'm also going to do white for my eye. Even though the canvas is white, we do want to still take the time to paint this white because the canvas is kind of a flat white, and this will be shiny like the rest of our paint. Now, before we do the last part, which is outlining it in black, your kit comes with a couple extra things. This thicker paper is for making teeth. If you would like to add teeth to your project, you can take scissors and you can cut these triangle shapes like this to make teeth for your dinosaur. You don't have to, and these are a little bit big. You can have big giant teeth that stick out. You could always feel free to cut them a little bit smaller. You could even do something where you make a different kind of tooth. I always think of teeth as being really sharp and pointed as triangles, but if you wanted to have teeth that were a little bit more flat, you could do that too. I'm going to go ahead and make a few more of these that are triangles. You can always have somebody help you with this if you need it. And when you're done, we've included some glue for you and a Q-tip. You can put some glue on the back of your triangle. You don't need a ton, it'll stick really well. I think I'm gonna do one here at the front, one a little bit more in the middle. I like the idea of maybe one sticking up back this way. And maybe one more. Make them have lots of teeth. You can do as many or as few as you want. And you can let that dry. You can even come back to it another day if you want to. But our last step is outlining our project with black, which I do really recommend you letting your project dry really well. That way you can put your hand down while you're painting. But I always like to start in the middle when I'm outlining things. You can also wait for this to dry, and you can do it with a Sharpie if you have one at home too. You can always ask an adult to help you with this part, but we are going to paint around our areas that we already painted in so that from far away, we can really see our project really well and that we can really create a contrast with it. There you have it. That's the easy, simple directions on how to paint it. You can be as creative as you want. Clouds in the background, different colors. If you have things at home that you want to glue on it to make it more exciting, it is totally up to you. So finish it exactly the way you like it. Please hit that subscribe button so that you can get new notifications on awesome new videos with art supplies you can do at home, along with kits as well.